All right, all right, all right, all right. Good evening, everybody. Sorry I was not able to get on there at 7:30, my normal time, but I am honestly I'm just spent. I've been kind of going back and forth live for the last several hours, and I'm tired, honestly. So tired of talking. But I'm on. I'm ready to go now. Hope you guys are doing well. We got big thunderstorms rumbling through South Jersey at the moment. You can see the lines, if you will. There's almost like three linear segments here pushing through. One is from Hamilton Township down to Middle Township, and then there's another one that's getting ready to. It's right over the open waters there of the Delaware Bay. It's getting ready to move on shore. It looks like Fortescue and Gandy's Beach are going to be in the direct path of that one. And then a little bit farther to the south, you can see near Milford, south of Dover, we've got another one, and that's going to eventually push into Georgetown, Delaware. So all three are producing some pretty good winds right now. We don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings, which is good, but we do have another one of these mesoscale discussions that was issued. And look at this, they're up in the ante a little bit here. They're now going 55 to 70 mile an hour straight line winds. Okay, so this is, potentially what could end up being a problem here down the road. Now, I'm going to flip it over to, you've got multiple screens here showing up, multiple products. On the left, you've got reflectivity, and on the right, you have velocity mode. Okay, now velocity mode is strictly for tracking rotation. All right, and then the reflectivity mode is strictly for tracking how heavy the rain is coming down. So, you can also track straight line winds with velocity too, and that's pretty much what we're seeing. I don't see any kind of rotating winds out of this right now at the moment, but I do see some pretty strong winds. It says Commercial Township. You know what? I've been in New Jersey my entire life, and I don't know if I've ever heard of that. But there's a look at it. We're zoomed into, all right, now the Cape May bubble. All right, it is bursting in Cape May County is getting blasted right now from Middle Township north. But we still don't have anything down in Cape May itself. Although if you look a little bit farther to the west, you will start to see some showers out there eventually. And look, down the road here, all right, this right here is what's going to end up hitting Cape May. All right, Cape May itself, right there. All right, so there is no bubble tonight. Cape May, you're finally going to get your rain. Okay. I know you guys have needed it. You've been saying how dry to. Oh, we got severe thunderstorm warnings popping now to the south. This is up for southern, Sussex County in Delaware. 60 mile an hour winds. It's radar indicated. That warning is up until 8:45. It's southwest corner, the extreme southwest corner of Sussex County in Delaware. It's just south of Seaford, and it extends south into Salisbury, Maryland. Now, that's a big squall line pushing through there. 60 mile an hour winds. And they're also saying a tornado is possible. Do you see that tag there, the second line? So there is some rotation with some, and it's funny because, on the outlooks, the Storm Prediction Center had a 0% chance today of tornadoes, yet we've already seen a tornado warning in right there on the Chesapeake. And there's also been a couple storms in our neck of the woods that were rotating. It was broad rotation, but it was still rotating. So kind of interesting knowing how the SPC really didn't put too much emphasis on rotating winds today. All right, let's go back a little bit farther up into our neck of the woods now. I'm going to zoom into this monster here coming out of, looks like the Millville and Cumberland areas. Let's go back over to one screen instead of the split. That's all really heavy rain and gusty winds. Now, as what I want to do is I want to show you the accumulated precipitation totals right now. And so for that, we're going to go right here. Look at all the rain real quick before we get into the winds. Look at all the rain that has fallen in parts of the area. And we have had reports of flooded roads. We've had reports of 50 mile an hour winds. We've had all kinds of reports of flooding right now. And this is in an area that can usually handle a lot of water. So thankfully, the heaviest rains this time around have not been over the heart of the I-95 corridor, or we would have had some huge problems. With that being said, we still have a lot of flooding problems right now in Salem County and extreme southern Gloucester County. It's actually southwest Gloucester County. In particular, the Woodstown area. That's an area where Doppler radar is estimating between 4 and 6 inches of rain. Actually, look at this. Some of the numbers are up to 7 now. All right, so obviously that's way too much. A lot of it's running off. All right, and so you're getting the flooding. Now everything has shifted to the east. This should be it right here. All right, see this right here? That should be it. We should be done after that comes and goes. All right, hopefully we won't continue to see more develop behind it. Notice there's not much going on behind it. That should be the tail end. Once that pushes through the city, we're done. Once that clears the coast, we're done. They have the severe thunderstorm watch up until 10. I don't think it's going to need to be up until 10. I think maybe you're looking at another potential 45 minutes to an hour of the threat for some severe weather, and that's it. Right, and then we just shut it off for good and we're done for the night. Now, there could be another round tomorrow, another round of thunderstorms tomorrow, and that too has the potential to turn strong to severe. Now, it's not going to be as wide. This was very widespread. Look at it all. The coverage was very, very impressive. There's a large part of the area right now that is seeing some kind of rain, whether or not it's showers or the downpours or thunderstorms. Tomorrow, it shouldn't be quite as widespread. But with that being said, some of these storms tomorrow could be very, very big downpours and the possibility of strong gusty winds again. Okay, so that's the latest right now. Let's go back over to velocity mode. And again, I don't see, the only thing that I'm watching is that cell west of Atlantic City that's closing in on the airport. Let's see, right there. All right, so this road right here, just to give you an idea of where we are, this right here is the AC Expressway. All right. And so you've got, this is the cell that I'm monitoring. Those are good winds. All right, so the site is up here. It's farther north than this, but I'm just trying to give you an idea. So Fort Dix site is up here. That's the radar site that's picking up this this wind. Red is winds blowing away from the site, okay? So just to give you an idea of what's going on, what you're looking at here. Let's say, for example, Fort Dix is right here. All right, I'll stop the, let's go all the way back. Right there, all right? So your winds, this red is outbound winds. These winds are blowing this way, okay? And then the green is blowing towards. So you don't really have, it's not really any rotation here, all right? These are just winds that are kind of, the radar sites here that are kind of blowing away, all right, from the radar site. See that? It's a lot of strong straight line wind. There's a look at it right there. All right, that's getting, actually it's pushing through Mays Landing now as I speak, and it's closing in on the Garden State Parkway and Route 9, which is right here. All right, so it's not going to be too much longer now. Upper Township, Middle Township, those areas start getting walloped here. All right, actually, Middle Township's getting hit right now. So Middle Township down to actually, it might be just north of the Villas. Where's the Villas? The Villas is right, it's just north of the Villas. Nothing going on in the Villas. You don't got to go too far up the road, though, Delsey Drive, and all of a sudden you're getting so much of a downpour that you probably can't see much of anything at all. Cape May Courthouse, looks like this is about 15 minutes away. It's off to your west. Stone Harbor, it looks like it might pass just north of you guys. Avalon will get it. Sea Isle City will definitely get it. Strathmere will definitely get it, and so will Ocean City. We also have this flash flood warning up. All right, this was issued by the National Weather Service. Some of the rain gauges are already starting to fill up pretty quickly. 1 to 2 inches has already fallen. An additional 1 to 3 is possible. All right, so you're talking 2 to 5 inches of rain with this when all is said and done. All right, some of the areas included here: Vineland, Millville, Cumberland, Pleasantville, Northfield, Absecon, Egg Harbor City, Laurel Lake, Weymouth, Woodbine, Estelle Manor, and Corbin City. All right, there's more and more right there. That's where, if you remember the Hurricane Isaias, remember it kind of, it actually, Isaias ran right up the I-95 corridor, but the banding was coming in like this. And if you remember, we actually had that big tornado that went right across the Garden State Parkway in Maramora. And if you drive by there, you can still see the area. Some of the trees are still shredded. They're still snapped. You can still see the area where that tornado came on shore. It was just like this. It came right over the marsh and then right over the Garden State Parkway. That was from Isaias. I actually saw that the other day. We were down there, and you can still see where that tornado touched down. I'll never forget that. I was doing that storm it was me and Dave Murphy, tag team in that storm. All right, I had to get some water real quick. All right, so again, this color here right here, that's severe thunderstorm watch and a mesoscale discussion. Interesting with the 70-mile-an-hour winds. I just don't, I don't know. I just don't know. There's a severe thunderstorm watch. Again, this is all straight line. Notice the tornado threat is actually 0 now. So, they're really focused on the straight line wind issue here. And they're up in the ante going 55 to 70. But, man, I just don't know about the 70. That's asking a lot of the atmosphere today. These are big, big downpours, though. Big, big downpours. Let's go back down here to the severe storm. All right, Ocean City, Maryland is right here. You've got a nasty little squall line right there. Look at all the cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. If you've tuned in earlier, what did we say about the lightning strikes? When you start seeing them all bunched together like this, you see the density. There's a lot of them. It's thick. All right, when you start seeing this, that's a sign of a strengthening storm. All right, so this is a strengthening squall line. We'll see if it holds together as it runs through Salisbury and eventually Ocean City. But it would not surprise me at all if they expand this warning to include Bethany Beach and Ocean City, Maryland soon. I would say once this gets to Salisbury, they will probably expand the warning east and put Bethany Beach and Ocean City in it too. Maybe as far north as Dewey, but it does look, if you look up here, all right, the line does not look nearly as pronounced there as it does to the south. Regardless, you're going to get some big downpours and big winds down here. All right, Sussex County, Delaware, the Delaware Beaches, Ocean City, Maryland. All right, back up north. Hi, Murphy. You okay, boy? All right, back up north we go. You got the flash flood warning up. All right, you can see for a large chunk of Atlantic County, the northwest tip of Cape May County, and portions of Cumberland County. All right, Millville's included in it. Vineland is not in the flash flood warning, by the way. Maybe the extreme southern part of it is, but most of Vineland is not. Newfield is not in the warning. Buna, the southern part of town, is in the flash flood warning. The northern part of town is not. All right, Mill May is in the warning. Dorothy is in the warning. Estelle Manor is in the warning. Hamilton Township is in the warning. Mays Landing is in the flash flood warning. Woodbine is in the flash flood warning. All right, what else do we got out here? Corbin City. There's Dorothy and Mill May. There's Estelle Manor. All right, these areas right here all are in flash flood warnings. And there's the heavy downpours. Here in Summers Point, if you're in Ocean City, that sky is pitch black to your west. I mean, the sun's getting ready to go down soon anyway, but that sky is awful dark to your west. English Creek, it's pouring. Garden State Parkway, we're in Route 9. We're still okay right now, but give it another 5 minutes, and your time is coming to an end. Here it is, right there, all the way down towards Sea Isle. You know how you're driving down the Garden State Parkway, and you look to the left or towards the ocean, and suddenly see the Spinnaker buildings there in Sea Isle? If you look to the right or to the east, it is pitch black. Big, big downpours pushing through. Hi, Murphy. All right, hold on, good buddy. I'm doing this whole weather thing. Lower Township. Cape May, you got some showers pushing through. All right, this right here is going to be your heavy rain in Cape May over the next hour. All right, that's all going to push east. All right, the bubble has popped. You're getting your rain. Let's go farther to the north. They still haven't expanded this warning yet, but Ocean City and Bethany Beach, I'm going to give you guys a heads up right now. That's a big squall line pushing through. Honestly, the severe thunderstorm watch, if it were me, I would take Camden, Gloucester, Salem, and Newcastle counties out of it immediately. There's no need for them to be in it anymore. Everything is shifted east. I would take those counties out of the watch immediately. All right, so actually I'm going to do that right now. If you're in Newcastle County, if you're in Salem County, Gloucester County, or Camden County, I'm going to give you guys the all clear right now. All right, now you still have a flash flood warning up for portions of Camden and Gloucester counties, okay? But as far as severe weather, I'm going to give you guys the all clear. It should stay south of those counties. So let's take those counties out of the severe thunderstorm watch. Let's go to the smaller communities down here in the Delaware Bay. And it looks like Fortescue getting popped pretty good now. Same with Gandy's Beach and what was formerly known as Money Island. All right, this area right there, there's Gandy's Beach, getting hit really, really hard. All right, Down Township getting blasted. Lawrence Township, Fairfield Township. All right, all of them getting hit pretty good. Heading into Maurice River. Pretty good downpours there. Flash flood warning north and east. This is a lot of marshland out here, though, too. So it does tend to flood a lot, not only from heavy rain, but just simply from the tide. I'm actually surprised they don't have that area in a flash flood watch or warning. Let's go back over to this. Yeah, there's no rotation here, but those are big winds. Murphy, I can't. It's pouring. Murphy, no outside. It's pouring. It's pouring, Murphy. I'm not taking you out. So these are some pretty big winds right now. Hey, no mas. No. Yeah, that's a pretty good wind right there. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong thing. We only got about 30-mile-an-hour gusts here. There's the flash flood warning. Yeah, you're not going to get severe weather this way. Remember, severe weather is 58 miles per hour or higher. We're nowhere near that right now. We do have 30-mile-an-hour gusts. All right, guys, bear with me real quick. I have to let Murphy out or he's going to pee on this floor. I'll be right back. Murphy, it's raining. If you got to do your duty, you got to do it quick. Boy. All right, let me get you a treat. Get you your treat. Time for a treat. There you go. There you go. Good boy. All right. I'll let you back out as soon as I'm done, okay? All right. All right. I am back. What's going on here? All right, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this Cape May bubble to burst. I'm waiting. I want to see it burst. Definitely want to see this thing burst. It's coming. Boy, how would you like to be on a boat right now over the Delaware Bay? I still can't believe this whole thing was ice over the winter. I can't remember. I'm sure it's been like that, back in the 70s, when those kind of winters were like every year. But I know, I had been going down to the Delaware, but no, I didn't get to see it last winter, obviously, because I was in Florida, but I saw pictures. And, I had been going down to the Delaware. My grandparents had a place in Money Island when I was a kid. So I've been going down there since I was 5 years old. And I've seen, some of the coldest weather that I can remember. I'm only 50 years old, but, going back to, the late 70s, early 80s when I was 4 or 5 years old, that was some of the worst ice I've ever seen on the Delaware Bay. I don't know if you guys ever seen it like that, ever seen it any worse. This is obviously a special marine warning. Let's see what they're talking about here. And they're talking about, what are the wind speeds here? Wind gusts at 34 knots, so that's roughly 40 miles per hour? And suddenly they're talking about higher wave heights too developing in these thunderstorms right here. I don't think anybody's on the water right now, but, I understand why they issue those. Look at that. Did Cape May Courthouse see it? Yep, they did. All right. Barely, but they got it, which means Stone Harbor's going to miss this. Stone Harbor's going to miss out on this. But they won't miss out on this line back here. There's another one coming, and that's the one that will ultimately blast Cape May. Again, if you're just now tuning in, I'm giving these counties the all clear for severe weather. I don't care what the Weather Service is doing, I am taking Camden, Gloucester, Salem, and Newcastle counties out of this watch. They don't need to be in the severe thunderstorm watch. They need to be removed, so I'm taking them out. There's just no need for those counties anymore to be in this watch. Now, there's still a little bit of rain, but you can see the back end is already pushed east of the Delaware River down there, all right, which is good. Woodstown's still seeing some rain. You still have some flooded roads out there near Woodstown. We're way east of Cowtown, though. Washington Township, Williamstown, the Medford Lakes area, all still seeing a little bit of light rain, but the big storms, the big downpours are down here. Now, the funny thing is you can see how the radar is really starting to light up here. It makes sense because this is the area where we were getting some sunshine this afternoon, right? And it's like I said, the sun destabilizes the atmosphere. And so this all makes perfect sense given what the satellite looked like. Here's a look at it. Oh, and there it is. Okay. All right. Now we had, it's not going to show it. The loop doesn't go far enough back. But we had some of this dark right here is, if you look to the lower right part of your screen, the dark, that's where the sky is clear. And we had some of that over Cape May, Atlantic, Cumberland, Kent, and Sussex County. Actually, it was over Salem and Newcastle County earlier today too. But now, obviously, you've got the blow up of thunderstorms here. Let's see. There's all the watches. Got a few severe thunderstorms down here. They still have not expanded that warning for Ocean City and Bethany, but it will get expanded. Oh man, it is monsooning. Monsooning in, let's see, we're Sea Isle, Ocean City, Maramora, Strathmere, the Deauville Inn. It's a nice little place there. Just getting pummeled right now. Where's the Deauville? So the Deauville is right there. Actually, it might show up well. Yeah, the Deauville is right here. Oh, it's not letting me draw. Darn it. But that's Strathmere. Pouring. There's Somers Point, big rains there. Longport, getting some pretty good rains now. Ventnor, Margate, not quite in your neck of the woods yet, but give it another 15 minutes or 10 minutes and it will be. And then eventually it'll get into Atlantic City too, the casinos there, and then Brigantine. Short Points are getting their rain. Cape May County getting the rain. All right, but Cape May itself and Wildwood has not. But look what's going on out here. It's coming. It's coming. Man, that's a lot of rain. Just a ton of rain today. A lot of rain. It's interesting because the U.S. Drought Monitor updated earlier today. And, like I thought, it didn't really show much improvement because a lot of the rain that fell over the weekend and Monday is not going to be in Thursday's update. It'll be in next Thursday's update, though, and so will all this rain here, too. And so I think you're going to see a huge, huge improvement. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if a large part of our viewing area is no longer even in a drought, after all this is done. Now, the southern part of our viewing area will, because if you remember, the southern part of our viewing area is in D3. Cape May, Southern Cumberland, Kent, Sussex counties, those are all D3. It's pretty severe. So, and since Cape May County has missed out on a lot of these downpours, this is obviously what's going to come through here soon. This is beneficial and this will help, but, keep in mind they have missed out on some of the others. So, some areas will still definitely be in drought conditions, but I think you're going to notice that a large part of our viewing area next Thursday when this thing updates isn't even going to be in drought conditions anymore. All right, just like that, all right, there it is again. Again, I don't think that's a special marine statement. I don't think anybody's out on the water right now. At least I would hope not. So far in our coverage area, I've seen one. I mean, maybe I've missed it, but so far I've seen one severe thunderstorm warning, and that was for Salem and Gloucester counties. That was the only one. We did have confirmed winds over 50 miles per hour, but you need 58 to be classified severe, and I did not see a confirmation on that. That's a big storm here, but this is suddenly looking like it's starting to fall apart too. I'm going to bed. I am so tired. You know, it's funny. This is the third. This is the actually. Wait a minute. One, two, three. This is the fourth. This is the fourth live that I've done today, and one was the one that I normally do at 7 o'clock in the morning. That lasted for like maybe a half hour, 25 minutes, or whatever. But these other ones have lasted between an hour and a half. And you wouldn't think this, right? Because you when you're working and you're like doing some kind of manual labor, cutting lawns or putting roofs on houses or building stuff or whatever, that stuff is very tiring. You do an hour or two's worth of work landscaping and you're exhausted. But the funny thing is, try talking for an hour straight. Try talking for 2 hours straight. It's not as easy as you might think. It gets tiring quick. And I'll never forget, I think I've told this story before. I worked from 2000 to 2005 at Channel 6. I was behind the scene weather producer. It was Dave Roberts' weather producer and Cecily Tynan. And I left the company and decided to step out in front of the camera. And so obviously, Philadelphia, a market that big, you can't just throw someone in front of the camera who's never been in front of the camera before, right? It just doesn't work that way. And so, for as much as I didn't want to leave and as much as management didn't want me to leave back then, it was one of my dreams to try it. And so they respected that and they let me go. And so Dave and I put a little plan together. We had a couple people ask, that they just wanted, they were interested in me. And Dave told me that I wanted to go to the place that was going to give me the most airtime. And so that was Bowling Green, Kentucky. They wanted to make me chief. So we went out there. And within like I left Channel 6 September. It was like the last day of September or the first day of October. And I went out to Bowling Green, Kentucky. And what a drive that was. Oh my gosh. The drive is fine until you get out into West Virginia. And then, oh my gosh, it's a mountainous state, and it's just scary out there. I'll never forget, I had to stop and get gas, and there was a three-legged dog that ran by me. I just was like, this place is spooky. I got to get out of here. So that was West Virginia. So I get out of West Virginia, and I get into Kentucky. I pass Lexington, and then all of a sudden I head down, I think it was 65, Interstate 65, and I get to Bowling Green. And so I'm in Bowling Green, and I'm going to say not even 3 months in, we get this tornado outbreak. And I had never seen, because, here in the Philadelphia area, we just don't get the kind of weather. Now, Ida was an exception, all right? The remnants of Ida, that was an exception. But that was a tropical system that did that, So within like the first 3 months, we get a tornado outbreak out there. And it is storm after storm after storm. And I'm the only Met there. And I mean, I'm the chief anyway, so, I'm pretty much the one that is supposed to be in front of the camera. And it was like 3 hours and 45 minutes straight. That's how long I was on the air. And the people were coming in, and they were giving me glasses of water, and I'd have to step out of the camera for like, a minute or two at a time just to kind of catch my breath and just to kind of regroup. It was seriously like 3 hours and 45 minutes. 3 hours and 40 minutes worth of talking. That's how long I was on straight. I mean, we had multiple tornado warnings on the, at the same time. There were multiple confirmed tornadoes on the ground at the same time. It was insane. To this day, I've never seen anything. Ida comes close, but it still was not like, what I went through out there that day in Bowling Green. And I just remember the next day when I woke up, I felt like I was hit by a Mack truck. I was dead. And the manager, Ed, he had already said to me I didn't have to worry about coming in the next day. He's like, just take tomorrow and rest. And that's what I did. I regrouped. I remember I went to, I think it was Lone Star, and got a nice big steak for dinner and everything. I recharged. I rested all day. I was watching, TV, and I just relaxed. But I just remember, I'm so happy I didn't have to work the next day because I had nothing. I had no energy at all. I would have been awful on the air that day. I was dead tired. So anyway, I mean, it's not as easy as you might think to just talk, for hours at a time. It just wears you down eventually. the guy, the guy built, carrying shingles up ladders to fix roofs. He's probably laughing right now, saying, "You wimp." I get it. Look, I know that laborer stuff is brutal. I tried that out too, and I'll give you guys credit. I don't know how you guys do that. My back hurt every day. I remember I was doing roofing for. I'd say I was roofing for about 2 months, and I could be honest. I'd be honest. I couldn't hack it. My back hurt every single day, and I was like, I can't do this. And then what else did I do? I was landscaping. Landscaping, now this was obviously before I became a meteorologist, and before I was a bartender too. The landscaping was actually fun. I got to drive the tractor mowers, and the one thing I didn't like doing was weed whacking. My forearms would start hurting. I mean, if you're weed whacking for 8 hours a day, think about it. My forearms would hurt. But I didn't mind driving the tractor mowers. They were cool. Picking weeds. I didn't mind that job. The roofing was awful though. I didn't like the roofing. All right, let's get back to this. So here's a look at here's a look at some of the downpours. Now we got this big line that's already starting to work its way offshore from it looks like it's Margate and Ventnor south through Avalon, Strathmere, Ocean City, and Sea Isle City. This is moving along pretty good though. Marmora, looks like you're already starting to see the rain let up a little bit. Upper Township, still raining heavily. Sea Isle is just coming down. Cats and dogs. This is right over. Let's see where this is. Yeah, this is right on JFK, too. JFK and Landis. Look at that. And then you got another heavier cell right here. Man, that's a big downpours there in Sea Isle. Fish Alley, Mike's Seafood. Big, big downpours. Boardwalk Casino there, right on the promenade. I love going down to that place. They're cool people there, the management. They'll take care of you. It's a great little casino they got there in Sea Isle. Casino. Great little arcade, sorry. Cape May, your bubble. I'm counting down the hours before this thing pops. Wildwood, you got some showers. The Villas, showers. North Cape May, it's raining now. All right, it's actually raining in Cape May Point right now. But I'm talking about the big stuff. All right, this big stuff here. All right, farther to the south we go. And we got nothing. Still just this one warning. It's going to be interesting. This line down here does not look nearly as bad as it did about maybe 15 minutes ago. It's going to be interesting if they continue to pop the warnings for this. The winds don't look, that's pretty good near Seaford, all right? That's a good wind gust, but it doesn't look as impressive as it once did. A lot of rain. Lot of rain. All right, now tomorrow, let's see, maybe I can do, I don't know if it goes this far out. It might. So let me stop the radar. Let me show you the modeling, because I'm sure most of you are thinking, all right, well, what's going to happen tomorrow? Well, here's where we stand right now. This lines up really, really well. This is what the radar was supposed to look like according to the modeling. That's awful darn close. I mean, the modeling is never going to nail it 100%. That's awful darn close. All right, so this looks like it initialized correctly. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. There's 9 right there. All right, now let's fast forward into tomorrow. All right, that's 11 o'clock in the morning. We're quiet. There's 2 in the afternoon. There's 3. Now, again, this is Friday, if you're just now tuning in. There's 7. All right, so the model is back down considerably tomorrow. There are still a couple of storms out here. There's 6. There's 7. So you're going to get a 3-4 hour window with some thunderstorms. But this does not look nearly as active as it once did. So Friday might be very, very spotty. And then here's Saturday. 9 o'clock in the morning, got some showers out there. Afternoon, a couple of showers. Boom, here come the thunderstorms popping down to the south. See that? Oh, and it looks like it's the Jersey Shore by 4. So a little unsettled. What about Sunday? There's 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Sunday looks like a much better day. So obviously unsettled today. Oh, no, no. Get out of there. Looks like we do have a couple isolated thunderstorms popping west of the Delaware River Sunday afternoon. Hopefully that's wrong. I do think Saturday could be a little active, though. Models have been showing that for a little while now. Here's the radar. No warnings. Severe thunderstorm warnings don't look like they're not going to be extended into Bethany and Ocean City, Maryland either. That's good. Maybe we're seeing the end of it here. Just drenching downpours. All right. Let's take a look at the observations. Let's see what the temperatures are doing. These are dew points. Still gross. There's the air temperature. Not bad, but like I have my own weather station, and my present temperature reading is 75, but that's my dew point too. So I mean, it is really, really muggy out here. Let's see what the heat index numbers are. It's still toasty down here in Sussex County in Delaware, Salisbury, Maryland, down to Exmoor. Look at Exmoor. Wow, look at Petersburg and Richmond. Whew. Wow, what are the dew points here? Oh, look at Exmoor, 78. What's the temperature? 84. So that gives you a heat index of 95. Petersburg, you have a temperature of 91, a dew point of 74, and that gives you a heat index of 100 right on the dot. Woo, look at these numbers down here. Greenville, 101. Saki, 102. More hundreds. Look at Wilmington. Yeah, that can stay down there. I don't want any of that. Boy, that is a funky looking squall line now. Look at this thing. See it? Look at all the twists and turns here. You might be saying, well, what does that mean, Chris? Nothing. It's just funky looking. If it was severe, all right, let me show you, all right? If this was a warned line, we'd have to watch it. And the reason why is this. Because, for example, do you see how we're bowing out this way? All right, the winds would be coming in like this, all right, at the apex right here is where the strongest winds would be. But then what happens is, you see how the bow goes outward? The winds would start going like this. All right, now you see how there's an S shape here? Same thing. Your winds are going out where the apex is, all right, right here. So farther down, your winds would start coming in like this. And this is where you would get your rotation. All right, so you'd get strong straight line winds here, and then you'd have to watch for tornadoes here. All right, that's what happens when you start getting S-shaped S-shaped on the reflectivity. All right, there's hook echoes, there's bow echoes, and then you get these little S-like features too, and you got to watch them. All right, because here's where you could get the tornadoes. The apex is where you get the strong straight line wind. They can bring all kinds of messy storms to the area. Now, it's not severe, so we don't have to worry about that. This is all just an S-shaped line of heavy thunderstorms. But, you know, that's essentially what we would be watching if this was a line of severe storms. Okay, so, you know, it looks like the severe thunderstorm warning in Salisbury, it doesn't look like they're going to extend this east into Bethany and Ocean City, which is good. But you still got some good downpours heading your way. Cape May, you've got all this mess over the Delaware Bay that's going to be heading your way. So you will Cape May Point, Cape May, West Cape May, Wildwood, you know, Stone Harbor. You guys, I know you haven't had much yet. You've had a little bit of light rain. You will get yours, because eventually this right here, eventually this moves right over. All right. And then farther to the north we go from this line right here west. You're done. You might get a little bit of light shower activity, but you're done. All right, the main event is south and east of that line. Okay? And that's all that's left. All right, guys, I am going to rest. I'm going to do another dungeon tomorrow at 7, and we will focus on the potential for more strong thunderstorms again on Friday. All right. Hope you guys had a great day. I know it got messy out there, but hope you guys still had a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. All right? Take care, everybody.